Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Alifia from Management 24A and PM 244110113. So, I will explain about economic principle and economic model. Economic principles are the basic rules or guidelines used to understand how individuals, companies, and societies make decisions about the allocation of limited resources. This principle helps explain economic behavior in situations where limited resources must be used to meet unlimited needs. The difference between microeconomic and macroeconomic. 1. Microeconomic focus on the behavior of individuals, households, and firms in making economic decisions. Studies aspects such as supply and demand, price of goods and service, production costs, and consumer and produce behavior. Example, how the price of coffee is determined or how firms maximize profit. 2. Macroeconomics focus on the economy as a whole and the issues that affect a country or global economy, studying things like inflation, unemployment, economic growth, and fiscal and monetary policy. Example, a country's national inflation rate, gross domestic product GDP, or unemployment. The purpose of the economic principle is to achieve the greatest possible profit while minimizing the risks of loss that might arise from certain error. The economic principle also aims to avoid excessive consumption and only use the capabilities that are owned. The following are some characteristics of economic principles that you need to know, including 1. Rationally always use common sense without being influenced by emotion and lose before carrying out economic activities or action. 2. Act economically, carry out economic activities with measurable planning and through careful calculation. Behaving economically allows a person to meet various life needs and avoid the tendency to be wasteful of extravagant. 3. Act frugally, buy good or service according to actual needs. 4. Create a priority scale, fulfill all needs by arranging the order based on their level of importance, starting from the least urgent to the most urgent. 5. Cost and benefit. Always consider both the cost incurred and the benefit to be obtained for each economic action or activity carried out.
10 Principles of Economics according to Prof. N. Gregory Mankiw. 1. Decisions based on trade-offs. The importance of making sacrifices in decision-making or trade-offs is one aspect of the 10 Principles of Economics. Every individual is faced with the need to sacrifice something in order to obtain something else. As a simple example, the consideration between rice and bread is the choice faced. On the one hand, bread offers a variety of appetizing flavors, so it is the main choice. However, there are sacrifices that must be made, namely higher costs compared to buying a pack of rice. In other words, to enjoy the delicious pleasure of bread, sacrifices are required in the form of greater expenses compared to choosing a pack of rice. 2. Opportunity cost. The concept of opportunity cost refers to the loss that is willing to be accepted when choosing option B at the expense of option A. For example, Anton is faced with the alternative of joining an electronics company with a salary of IDR 4 million or an FMCG company with a salary of IDR 5 million. If Anton decides to work in an electronics company, the opportunity cost that he must accept is IDR 1 million. 3. Marginality, thinking rationally to get profit. Along with the principles of economics, basically every individual will make rational considerations to achieve a number of benefits. Generally, a person will make small adjustments to their activities in order to obtain maximum profit. A concrete example can be seen from an employee's decision to extend his work contract. If the employee applies for a contract extension, he will get benefits in the form of job promotion and salary increase. 4. Trading activities benefit the parties involved. International trade generally occurs between countries that have the ability to produce certain types of goods specifically, which may not be produced by other countries. Saudi Arabia and Indonesia are concrete examples of mutually beneficial trade relations. Indonesia needs a supply of fuel to meet its domestic needs, while Saudi Arabia is known as a major producer of fuel. Therefore, it is not surprising that Indonesia cooperates with Saudi Arabia, where Indonesia can meet its fuel needs, while Saudi Arabia gains profit from fuel sales. 5. Response to incentives. In general, individual behavior can be influenced by various environmental variables, including economic benefits and changes in economic costs. This can be seen from the public's response to the government's decision to reduce fuel subsidies. The decision caused an increase in fuel prices for the public due to the reduction in subsidies, so many decided to reduce the use of their private vehicles in response to the change. 6. The role of government in the production process. In some situations, there are markets that fail to distribute resources efficiently, which ultimately results in market failure. This kind of market condition must be addressed properly, and it is the government's responsibility to implement effective regulations. One approach is to support the production process in the market so that both sellers and buyers can profit, and economic activity can continue to run smoothly. An example is when there is a disruption in distribution that causes a shortage of rice supply in a number of traditional markets ahead of the Eid celebration. The government has the right to intervene and investigate the entire process, from production to distribution to retailers in traditional markets. Furthermore, the government will conduct an analysis of investment results to make the right decision so that the rice supply can be stable again. 7. Market as the center of economic activity. The market is a place where communication between consumers and producers occurs. In every market, there is bargaining activity regarding the value of goods, which ultimately has a positive impact on a country's economy. As a simple example, when a housewife buys cooking needs at the market, she will be involved in the bargaining process with the seller to get a price that is considered more reasonable. 8. A country's standard of living depends on production. Then, the 10 principles of economics also emphasize that the standard of living of people in a country is closely related to production capacity. In other words, the standard of living of people in the country can be considered high when goods are produced in large quantities. For example, Japan has succeeded in achieving status as one of the developed countries, even though it has a smaller area and population compared to Indonesia. 9. Trade-off between unemployment and inflation. In addition, the 10 principles of economics also show that increasing inflation tends to result in a decrease in the unemployment rate. This concept is in accordance with the Phillips curve, a special economic model that illustrates the inverse relationship between the inflation rate and the number of unemployed. However, this phenomenon generally only occurs in the short term. 10. Inflation caused by too much money in circulation. The next 10 principles of economics discuss the issue of inflation. According to the principles of economics, inflation occurs when the amount of money in circulation increases excessively, which can then cause a decrease in the value of the currency. For example, if the amount of money in circulation in a country is too large, the value of its currency can decrease, which in turn can cause product prices to increase.